Welcome back to the Nerd Den, everybody, where the nerds get it in. My name is Drew Philip Elias. I am here with my co-host, Mr. Aldo Mendez.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
And today we have two very special guests here to discuss Hayao Miyazaki's timeless Spirited Away with us. Let's go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hi, my name is Karen. I'm back.
Hi, this is Vianney. We're back.
So we brought our girlfriends back on the podcast for a second round. This is our fourth episode with guests in a row. And I'm excited. Are you girls ready? Or do you want to hang out with us?
Ready?
You're excited to hang out with me and Aldo for the next hour?
I feel like it wasn't as hard as last time. Well, that we watched like a whole season of AOT. So we just watched a movie, 2-hour run, right? 120 something minutes.
It doesn't even feel like 2 hours, to be honest.
No, and I think it's the same case with the House Moving Castle.
This is our third movie we are discussing that's part of Studio Ghibli's vault, because we previously discussed Grave of the Fireflies and House Moving Castle, like Aldo's saying. So,
did you guys like it?
Yeah. Shout out Ghibli Studios.
Studio Ghibli?
Studio Ghibli.
Studio Ghibli?
Yeah.
Honestly, I really liked it. I was telling Aldo that it's fun to watch. Like, from the very beginning, like, at first I'm like, what's going on? And then it just escalates to a whole different story that I was not expecting.
And it just does that over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And you were saying, we were just looking up that he held its record for most grossed movie for 18 years?
19 years. It was the highest grossing film in Japan for like 19 years. It barely lost that last year because of Demon Slayer. So.
That is fucking wild, because even Demon Slayer now, it's like up there, like by a lot.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Before we get too far away, I do want to do some housekeeping notes. Please use hashtag EPFireNerds for the month of January. So for every retweet and like on a tweet that uses the hashtag, and every original tweet or Instagram picture or mention on your story, we will be donating to the El Paso Fire Department. Karen posted a tweet like this past week that got like 20 likes, so that's like $20 right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and our entries, we don't really have that many, but we do have more than last month, which is awesome. You guys saw that video, that fleet, the story. I just spammed it everywhere. We did a donation for the Nerds for the Homeless. Yeah. The people over there were very grateful. It seems like not a lot of people are donating, which kind of... hit the heart a little bit, but yeah, it was nice to give something actually where you get to see some faces.
Yeah, I'm really proud of Aldo for doing that. My original plan was for me to go with him as well, so that we could take make it like a whole podcast, like group effort. But me and Karen were moving yesterday, and while Aldo was doing it, I had like furniture in my hand. So, but I'm really glad we were able to do it, even though it's like 3 weeks late. Like they were just so like thankful, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like, oh, okay, drop that over there, we'll take whatever you're giving us. Like, they hit us up on Instagram afterwards, they called us, like they just
they asked me to talk about ourselves. I mean, they thought it was only me, but I mentioned you as well. Obviously, they talked about the podcast.
Take the full credit. I'm just kidding.
I was going to, but I didn't. But they told me a little bit about the center, which they hold like very high standards when it comes to like COVID and stuff. They're the only shelter that's never had any instances with COVID or any stuff like that. So yeah, that's really good. I took a couple of pictures of the shelter. Everybody's spaced out. The food, it's amazing. It's amazing work they're doing out there. So shout out to them.
Well, I just found it significant because like, when you said they were talking to you, they just emphasized that it was about giving back to the community. And as tacky as it seems, like, me and Aldo bring that every week. You know what I mean? We only do these hashtags and these giveaways because, like, we are trying to give back to the community. And they're all, like, local giveaways. These are all, like, local shelters. This is our local fire department.
Take care of your people.
Yeah, this was our Humane Society that we did. That was probably our most popular one.
Yeah, Humane Society. Yeah, everybody loves doggies. So, you know, we have little intern Seymour here in the spot.
But yeah, I guess we can just get into it. So we did discuss Spirited Away. This is the 2001 directed, written by, and produced Hayao Miyazaki Studio Ghibli film Probably definitely the most well known in Japan. Probably the most well known like globally as well. Mm-hmm. What do we think? Like, okay, Karen and Vianney, in big terms, like what is Spirited Away about?
Go for it. It's a whole puzzle.
Well, I guess starting it off, it's just they introduced this character, and it's this cute little girl. I thought she was adorable. Her name is Shihiro?
Yeah.
And so basically, they introduce the fact that they're moving to a new place, and it turns out that the dad finds this new path to, well, quote unquote, get to their new house.
A shortcut.
Right? But then it turns out they get into this tunnel where the parents really want to walk through, and Shihiro, she's like, no, like it's scary, I'll wait here, but she ends up going with her parents. So then from there, it looks like it was an abandoned theme park. The parents are amazed, they're just walking around.
Well, but before we describe the plot too much, like,
what do you think the moral of the story is?
Yeah, in like broad terms, like really like overarching language, like what is Spirited Away?
To your daughter. I'm just kidding.
A little bit. No, that's right. Yeah, a little bit. It's kind of like maybe your daughter knows best and you shouldn't be.
Yeah, because she was scared the whole time, and I even told Drew at one point, I was like, why would you keep walking if your daughter's like, no, Mom, I'm scared, please, I don't want to go.
I was like, they're so adventurous.
Yeah, they were like, no, let's go.
Just traumatize a kid right out the bat. For me, the last time I watched this movie had to be like maybe like 5 years or something like that.
I think I saw it like 3 years ago.
You know, so I never really paid attention, and this is what this is what I like about having this podcast, that even the things that I revisit, I'm like, damn, I didn't really see it that way. But at the beginning, it felt like a spoiled girl learning to appreciate what she had. And fighting for what she has.
She's really tough. She's really like solid. I don't know, for being a little girl, all the stuff that she has to go through.
She's really like strong-willed.
Yeah.
I kept telling you this, Karen, while we were watching it, but like, and I mentioned this during the Howl's Moving Castle episode. A lot of these Studio Ghibli movies remind me of like Alice in Wonderland. They're really fantastical, and like there's a lot of like magical creatures, and there's a lot of things that just aren't explained, like in Alice in Wonderland. Like magical shit just happens, right?
And if you think about it, it's like an isekai. A very well structured isekai that you don't even know that she went to another world.
Girls, isekai literally translates to transported to another world. It's a genre of anime.
So like a girl.
No. So like it's like a more modern genre, because maybe since like 2013 or so, like almost every season has just like 3 or 4 like mindless isekais that come out. But what Aldo's trying to say is that it's like it's an isekai without being trendy. Like it's a forebear almost.
Because if you think about it, Alice in Wonderland, Howl's Moving Castle. Well, Howl's Moving Castle, not so much, because... Well,
I was thinking Howl's Moving Castle in that same sense, because, like, the minute she meets Howl, just, like, it's just off.
You know it's just another world. Yeah, you're right. But, yeah, so what do you think is the moral of the story, Karen?
The moral of the story? I guess what I think the moral of the story is kind of like, or what I saw a lot is, if you love something enough, you're willing to do... Whatever it takes.
Some weird shit along the way.
Yeah,
I think that's right.
Weird shit.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah, I think that's right. Because, well, we can pick up where Vianney was describing, like, her parents get trapped, kind of, right? Like, I guess the metaphor there is they go into an abandoned playground that was built in the 90s. Or not a playground,
an
amusement park, excuse me. So they go into an abandoned amusement park, and it's full of, like, spirits and, like, ghouls and stuff. And the parents just start eating like magical food they see, and they turn to pigs, and it's obvious imagery for like gluttony, right?
Correct. And I like to point out that every time you see a post on the internet, Twitter, Reddit, like, oh my god, anime food looks so good, it literally has this picture like 90% of the time, where this stand of food for the gods that we know later, these parents go in there and just start eating stuff that is not theirs. So greed, gluttony, you know, all that stuff. And they start turning into pigs. And it's very weird because the animation is very good. And they're like hyper realistic pig.
It's fluid. Mm-hmm. Like it's weird. Like how many frames are in like 1 second during certain scenes? You're just like, oh. Mm-hmm. You can pick up, Vianney.
I'm like, oh, do I go? Okay, let's see. From there, I just remember that this boy, I can't remember his name. Haku, right?
Yeah.
He like randomly appeared because while the parents were eating away, she ends up wandering off, and she's just like seeing.
She found a bathhouse.
Oh, there you go. That's what it was,
and that's where she found the boy.
That's when Haku comes out, and he's like, "What are you doing here? Like, get out of here!"
But he was like frantic, like, you need to leave, it's almost dark, get out of here, get your stuff, turn around, the lights are coming on, you gotta go.
Like, he immediately recognizes her as a human being or a being out of that world.
What's a bathhouse?
A bathhouse?
Mm-hmm.
You go take a bath?
Like a spa
take a bath.
Yeah, it's more like a spa. It's like a Western spa almost, except they use like natural Japanese spring water is the idea, right?
Right.
And like herbs and stuff.
Yeah.
They feed you and stuff.
It's just a more Taoistic spa.
Yeah.
But so then he's yelling at her like to leave, and she's like, okay. And from there, she ends up trying to get back to her parents, and when she gets back to her parents, they're not even her parents. They're these pigs that you guys were just talking about. And so she doesn't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on either.
Yeah, they just exactly where her parents were sitting, she returns, and there's just these two like completely they're pigs, but they still look like overweight pigs, and they're just stuffing their faces, and she's like, dad, and just a pig turns around, and what is it called, the noise that pigs make, a squeal?
Yeah.
It just squeals in her face. It was super gross.
Yeah, and they're like animated to look all greasy and like slobbery and just dirty.
Like, oh no. And then it gets dark like all out of nowhere, and then like all these restaurants start turning on.
And you can see shadows in the restaurants, like if it's actually not abandoned the way we're under the assumption that it was.
And they start introducing like these spirits walking around. And then not only that, but then you also see her start fading as well. Like she kind of even starts kind of becoming like
translucent.
Yeah.
The spirits are really Japanese Taoism because I'm not religious at all, but I was raised like in the Christian faith. But how I see Japanese Taoism is it reminds me a lot more of like Native American naturalism, like how like
wind, like the wind.
Yeah, there's a radish spirit. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like it's like that kind of. So to Vianney's point, it's just like a bathhouse for spirits. It's a spot for spirits, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what they describe it as, at least.
And I'd like to mention that, for example, I mean, someone that like us has been desensitized to the weirdness of anime. For somebody that watches it, like how Vianney is describing it, you're watching this and you're like, where the fuck is this going? It's like, why did she just lose her parents?
Why are they pigs?
Why are there pigs?
Like, even my little notes, I put like 2 exclamation marks next to it. Like, parents are pigs. What?
And so, do we know how old, what is her name? Shihiro?
Uh-huh.
How old she is?
She must be like 8.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
She must be like 8.
She's a little girl. Mm-hmm. So imagine you're a little girl and you just walk up to your parents after some random boy yells at you, and then your parents are pigs, and then it's dark and you have to hide.
But then she doesn't realize it's her parents either. Like it's just.
Oh, did she not? She was
at first like, "Where are my parents? Like, why
she's
are there
10.
pigs?"
She's 10.
She's 10.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and actually, the face of what is it, Haku?
Haku, he looks like Howl.
He looks like Howl.
Yes,
he looks exactly like Howl. I'm like, is this Howl is the male protagonist or male main character in Howl's Moving Castle, and he's voiced by Christian Bale in the dub.
Yeah,
and he's useless.
Yeah,
and he's just sad all the time.
Yeah, if you pretty much every Miyazaki film, like the main character is usually female, and it's usually her just like taking like some boy for like a wild ass ride. Like it's usually how it ends up going. Like even Ponyo's like that. Ponyo's for like 5-year-olds. Like
yeah, but Ponyo's a trip.
Well, this one is too, because there's sections of animation that are just like freestyle. They just do something extra just to be like, hey, we're animating on a budget. Like no one else could do this right now.
Yeah, like the animation itself, like just the faces of characters and stuff in this movie is wild.
All of it, it's so good. It's so good. The witch. Oh, you guys don't know about the witch yet, but there's a witch.
And so, like you guys were saying, Shihiro, she starts being translucent because she needs some sort of like nutrients or like spiritual food
Because she's human in
to
that
stay
world.
there in that world.
But then Haku like appears again, and then he's like, he kind of saves her or something, and then gives her this little treat,
like a little berry-looking
yeah,
thing.
like just food for her to eat so she can like go back to normal. But at first she was like, "No, I'm gonna turn like into a pig."
Yeah.
Paranoid.
was
Yeah, and
a
at
little
this
hesitant.
point is when the fairy got there. And there was a fairy who was pulling up, and it had like all the spirits and
Like a boat
monsters.
fairy.
Yeah, a boat fairy.
Oh, I was like,
I was like, what
Watch the
fairy?
movie. No, it's a boat fairy. And then you see all these shadows like start to leave the ferry whenever it lands, and so they're just getting off. And she's just staring at them, and she's like, "What is this? What's going on?"
Yeah, because it's like Disney World. Like you just like skate on up, and you just get like a all inclusive like attraction. That's kind of how this spa is, right?
For the spirits.
Yeah.
yeah. And then so whenever he gives her that treat, like she finally goes back to normal. But then she's like, I don't know what's going on. And she starts crying, and I would be crying too.
I would be crying so hard.
I would have been shedding my pants when my parents turned into pigs.
Yeah.
At 10 years old, like what do you do? Like she's annoying as a character, but that's because she's 10 and alone.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, even as a 26-year-old.
Yeah.
Sometimes I cry.
I'm scared. Listen.
And then Haku ends up telling her, like, okay, we need to cross the bridge. You need to hold your breath.
I didn't understand that. Did you guys? Like, I know that... I know when you breathe on the bridge is when you're visible.
I think, like, the spirits actually can smell you or scent you.
I think the metaphor is that the river is the separation between the spirit world and the human world. Mm-hmm. So if you're on that bridge, that's when you're like most susceptible because it's that median, like the in-between space. Mm. So that's when like...
Maybe like a limbo almost?
Yeah. So that's like when the spirits can detect you, I guess.
Okay. Well, that's when they did detect her at the end.
Well, even at this point, we get the no-face creature on the bridge staring at her.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And it's just some creepy, like if you've ever seen like a picture of Spirited Away, it's just this black
Entity.
shade, with just a really
Masquerade
creepy,
mask.
like blank face mask.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and literally, like, it was the only thing staring at her. Everyone else was not even acknowledging her, which I thought was odd from the very beginning.
So Haku, after giving her this berry or whatever, he's like, you gotta go meet Eggman. Eggman's gonna give you
It's after they get caught.
It's after they get caught.
So a frog helper tries talking to Haku on the bridge.
True. And he freaks out.
And that's when she breathed.
She took like a deep breath or something like that.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh my god, we need to run. So like they end up running away from that bridge.
But he put the frog like in a trance or something.
In a bubble, like a little energy bubble or something.
Oh,
like
yeah,
right.
where I don't know. He didn't forget, right?
No. Yeah, he remembered. Because the frog sees Chihiro and is like, oh shit, a human. Haku puts her in a bubble. They dip. The bubble bursts and the frog's like, okay, I gotta go tell management that a human's in the bathhouse. And then it's a big shit show.
Everyone's like on the lookout for
Yeah,
her.
a human.
Mm-hmm. And Haku ends up hiding her, and then that's when he tells her like, hey, okay, so I can't go on with you from here, but you need to go to the boiler room and you need to look for
What was it called? The
He reminded me
was
of
a
Eggman from
slave.
Sonic.
I know they used
Glasses with the bald head. You baba.
Yeah,
there you
Baba? Okay, but what was his title? Like the...
Just the
Boiler room guy.
boiler room guy, yeah.
But it's
like-
essential for her to get a job.
Yeah.
She can't be in the bathhouse premises, like close to her parents, without having a job.
So he tells her, like, you need to go there and make sure you get a job. If not, they're just gonna... I don't know what.
What did they say?
I don't know how to remember.
Well, she will fade or something, right? She will, like, cease to exist.
I think
Well, they said that the witch can do something. I think the witch would kill her if she found her on there just being useless, just being a human. Just because the monsters don't want humans around them anyways.
Right.
So she was begging the man in the boiler room, Yubaba, she's like begging him for a job.
Well, that's when we see the soot sprites.
The what?
The little spiders.
Oh, those are so cute.
What are
They
they?
look like little black COVID things. Very cool.
Little viruses.
Yeah.
They're so Yubaba is cursed to run the boiler for like eternity. And
He
he's
looks
like
like a spider.
yeah, he's kind of like a
Yeah.
spider demon looking thing with like extendable arms.
He reminds me of like in Caroline.
Yes.
Okay.
In Coraline.
Coraline. Yeah.
Coraline.
Coraline.
But like, but then he has magical powers in and of himself because like he cursed these soot sprites to like just carry coal to the boiler like endlessly.
Yeah, and then she's like, please give me a job. He's like, no, I don't need you. Look, I have all the help I need.
I have a whole army right here.
But then, like, one of those little COVID things, like, literally, I don't know if he did it on purpose where he, like, squished
I
himself.
think the first one was on accident.
Was
He
it?
just like fell under the coal that he was carrying.
He, like, was getting squished, and then she ends up helping him and ends up taking the coal to,
The furnace.
yeah, there you go. And then they all started doing that, like, to basically help her get that job. And then what happened?
I just thought it was them being lazy. Because after
Yeah,
she
that's what I took it as.
after she
I
throws
took it
the
as
coal,
like, oh, they're helping her.
Because it was heavy. Like, you can see that she was physically struggling to pick
Right.
up the coal. So that was my assumption, too. I thought the little things were lazy, and they were just like, oh, like, so
Here.
if we just fall, like, she's gonna take it for us? And they all just, like, start
I didn't
almost
even
squishing
see it like
themselves.
that. I was even telling Aldo, I'm like, oh, look, they're trying to help her get a job.
but they turn into like her friends. You know?
Yeah, they do. They hold her stuff.
Because eventually, like, a worker comes in and sees, what's her name? Kamaji? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kamaji, like, walks in to give the boiler man his food, and then she sees a human and freaks out. She's like, you're who everyone's been looking for. And Yubaba, like, sticks up for, like, he's like, no, that's my granddaughter. Mm-hmm. And that's when she gets her job and gets her introduction to the witch chick.
Yeah, to the old
I
lady.
thought Yubaba was
Oh,
witch.
Yubaba's the witch. So then who's the boiler
Oh,
man?
the
She's just
girl,
the
the
boiler
friend.
man.
Oh, the young girl that goes into the boiler room. I can't remember. her name.
Kamaji.
Kamaji.
Kamaji's the boiler man, Yubaba's the witch. I'm sorry, you're right, Vianney.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, I have...
I have notes.
No, but I thought I was wrong at first. I was like, oh, no.
Well, that's when we get our first look at the bathhouse, because Tamaji, or whatever her name is, walks her up to Yubaba.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then, like, you see all these... Not even spirits anymore. It's, like, creatures.
Mm-hmm.
It just looks like old dudes in a bathhouse, just like all being like in Speedos and just overweight, just lounging in the bathhouse.
Yeah, and the whole theme of the bathhouse, it almost made it like a mafia movie.
A mafia movie.
I don't know, just
I can
like
see that.
you know, like
Yeah.
just like, oh shit, we got customers, guys. Like we need to take care of them. I don't know. It just like the clientele. It just reminded me of like high
The
like
spirits of the mob. It's a bathhouse for the Yakuza.
yeah somehow. The spirit
I don't know. I don't see
like
it.
high profile spirits.
Yeah, and then, okay, so then once we get Yubaba's introduction, she sees that. Like, she will describe, like, oh shit, the stink spirit's coming. Oh shit.
exactly.
Who's asking for a bath? Like, yeah, it's like some mob member, like, asks, like, yo, tell Yubaba, I need my bath ready. I need that magic mineral water.
Doesn't even say anything, just appears.
Yeah, it just shows up, and then they're all just gonna, like, kiss his ass about it.
So that's what I'm saying in that instance. That it's just like it's a high.
Stakes.
You know, high profile clientele, so which makes me to believe that this is the best bathhouse in the spirit world.
Yeah.
That's when, and then that's when we meet Yubaba, though. So, like, she gets to the top floor, thanks to the radish spirit, because, like, these, like, frog helper men are all in the bathhouse and they're trying to catch her. And Yubaba just right away is like, what? She was gonna kill her, right? Or what happened?
She's cursed. She's cursed with giving anybody that wants a job to give a job to them.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of Howl's the Moving Castle when like the witch puts the spell on Sophie and he's like, oh, and you can't tell anybody about it. Mm-hmm. It just reminds me of something like that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she's asking who helped her to get there, right?
Yeah.
She was trying to basically figure out who was helping her out because
Yeah.
she's not supposed to be there.
She's like, you're not supposed to have any friends here. Like,
And
who got you here?
Right. But then she just ignores it and she's like, I just need a job. Like, she's just ignoring anything she was saying. And then she was very hesitant. She's like, no, I'm not going to give you a job. And then that's when they introduced like this big baby.
Yeah. A huge
Do they even
baby.
name him? He's just called like Big Baby for like forever.
Yeah, because the witch is just my baby.
And it's just like
She's
this
just getting beat up.
this 20-foot tall baby just
Yeah.
beating the shit out of
Like
her.
you just see the room shake out of nowhere, and it's just this big
It's
old
like
baby that.
the Toy Story baby.
Yeah,
Like in
that
racial comparison to everyone else.
Oh, okay,
Right.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so she gets distracted with him, and she's like, "Okay, fine. Like, I'll give you a job. Just sign here for a contract." And
Please just stop yelling.
Yeah.
The baby's sleeping.
yeah.
You know who it reminded me of?
Who?
I'm gonna throw it back to Rugrats when they go into that episode of like the hour with no shade, and the big baby's like bullying everybody. But he's
Yeah,
only
yeah.
like a couple of months on. Do you remember that?
No, yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that.
it reminded me exactly of that.
I have no idea what we're talking about.
No? Where he wears the cowboy hat. He's like, I'm just gonna go home, lay down with my blanket, have a juice box, and have myself a nap
yeah.
or something like that. You remember that
I
episode?
don't remember none of that. But okay, so Yubaba gives her the job, but she takes her name, and that's part of the
Oh,
contract.
right. And then that's when she's like, "Your new name is gonna be Sin."
And she starts forgetting her name, right? After that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so apparently the next day, Haku comes into the room and just tells her, like, "Hey, meet me at the bridge." And then he ends up taking her to see her parents, which...
Pigs.
Which, yeah,
Parent pigs.
they're just pigs. And then when he gives her clothes back, because at this point she already had, like, different clothes on, like a uniform type of thing. He gives her the clothes, and then she finds this little card that from the very beginning, they also showed a card of, I guess, from when they had given her that bouquet of flowers. It said her name. And she's like, "Oh, wait, this is my name." Like,
I almost forgot.
Yeah, she starts explaining how she forgot her name and that she just has to keep that close to her so she can remember.
And I guess
who she
that's
is.
how the witch like takes power. Because she takes her name, like with her own magical power, she like physically takes her name, but by her taking your name, it begins to erase your own memories of your own self, your own life. That way you don't remember anything from the past. And that's the issue with Haku, because his name was taken, and he doesn't remember who he was or what he was doing. He
But
doesn't
he
know.
somehow even knows her name, though.
Yeah, because he even said, he's like, it's funny, I don't remember my own name, but I remembered yours. And then, didn't he say something like, it's almost as if we've met before?
Yeah, they do. And yeah, like you said, like this spell of you forgetting your name, your only memory just ends up being like, oh, I've been working here forever. This is my life, and they just stay there. Whoever stays there, and then that witch Yubaba is like, she's all about the money. Like you said,
Stacking.
how does she get her credits for the water? How does
The guests pay up front.
they get paid up front? But when the stink monster shows up, is that when
He paid. Like, so Chihiro is now part of the bath staff.
Yeah.
And she gets the shitty job because she's a new human, and then she has to clean the stinkiest bath that hasn't been cleaned in like a couple
Before
months.
this customer arrives, though, they show that No Mask is just following her.
Oh, yeah.
And she
no
ends up-
face.
Oh, no face. What did
No
he say?
mask.
Yes, mask, no face.
And so she ends up, she thinks it's a customer, so she lets it in.
Yeah.
And then, okay, and then now we...
Yeah,
I
so
feel like I needed to introduce him there.
Chihiro and that other chick are cleaning the bath, and what is her name? The chick with the T.
Mihaya? No.
No, the helper girl. Like,
didn't get
the
her name.
one who she's the assistant to.
Oh yeah, the one that calls her clumsy or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what is her name?
We just said it right now.
Yeah, it starts with a T, right?
I don't have it written down. I lost it. Anyways, so she's cleaning the bath, and we get told that we need a special mineral water to even clean the stinky ass bath. So Chihiro goes to talk to the foreman, and the foreman, it's like thinly veiled racism, but through like fantasy stuff, right? Because she's a human, all these fantasy creatures hate her, and she's asking for this bath token so that she can get the special mineral water to clean this bath. And he's like, no, clean it yourself. Like, go fuck yourself. and you see him like handing out like bath tokens to everybody else. Like some random person will just walk by and he's like, "Oh, you want a token? You want a token?" So it doesn't.
He's doing it on purpose.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything to him. Like it has no value to him. So what you're talking about, No Face is behind him and just like steals the bath token and gives it to Chihiro.
But the token man cannot see No Face.
Not
He's
yet.
unaware. Yeah, not yet. He's unaware that he's there.
Yeah, he didn't notice that he was even there, and all he saw was this token like floating towards her.
And then she grabs it. She's like, "Thank you," and just like walks away.
All cute.
No mask at this point. I
No
would like.
face.
I mean, no. Thanks, babe. Now you have Drew yelling at me. No face. I mean, it's been. I guess I want to say it's the most. The character that has the most stonks out of the whole movie, right?
Stonks.
You'll see in every like convention, any like a lot of people do cosplay on this character.
He's really popular.
I'm like, I've seen that character outside. Like, I didn't even know what it was or where it was from. Yeah, but I've seen that character just like as a shirt or
and at this point now I'm trying to correlate the invitation into the bathhouse to everybody seeing him
like he's a fucking vampire or something.
Yeah,
like he had to be invited into the
like the police almost.
He had to be invited into the bathhouse. So we get the bath token, we get the bath clean, and then Yubaba has like a fucking sixth sense about spirits, and she's like, "One's coming, something terrible is happening," and it's a stink monster. It's just a fucking like
garbage water.
Yeah,
guy.
garbage demon is just like coming towards the bathhouse,
and it's
just
so
a
fucking
huge blob.
Yeah,
and they show everyone
shit.
just running around like, "Oh, it smells."
And and again, I have to point out the animation, like this fluid character just waltz into like a bathhouse, smudging everything. There's even Chihiro has to go into his filth and try to get this fucking water to go. And I don't know, it's just crazy.
The actual like figure of it reminded me a lot from Monsters Inc. The one who's like, "Mike Wazowski, where's your paperwork?"
Oh,
that
Because
slug?
it's like, it's like a slug, and like the
Agent
slime that like she was leaving behind is exactly what he was leaving behind, but just 10 times more and 30 times bigger.
Yeah, absolutely.
And brown.
Absolutely. And she struggles to get like...
Well, it's because No Face had given her just a bucket full of tokens, and at first Chihiro's like, "No, I don't need these. Please take them away." And he's just being all weird and manic, just like, "Here, take them. I got them for you."
Yeah.
Like some creepy dude at the bar or something. Like,
Yeah.
"I got you this drink. Take
She's
it,
like,
take it."
"No, I just needed that one."
Yeah.
And then so anyway, that stink spirit arrives and everyone gets out of the way, but to the point where Yubaba is like, "Okay, this is our customer, like, you're gonna have to take care of him, like, only you." And everyone's like, "What?" And at this point, I even caught myself, like, holding my breath as if I could smell it.
It's because they make it so realistic, and everybody's going manic, just trying to get away from this monster before they've even crossed paths with him, because everyone's yelling, "Go back to your rooms, go back to your rooms." Like, I'm assuming if you're just around it, the smell probably sticks to you, like a skunk or something.
Probably.
It's
It's just filth. Like, it's just
Yeah.
made out of filth. Yeah.
It looks like green poop water. Like once it mixes in with the bath water, like
yeah.
it's gross.
like the water from your work.
Yeah. So, so Chihiro has these bath tokens, and she just starts sending them all. Just like, send as much water as possible. Like, we got to clean this stupid thing. And that's when she finds, like, she calls it a thorn in the dub. I'm not sure what the...
Oh yeah, she called it a thorn. But
Yeah.
I guess the witch knew exactly what was going on.
Yeah, she finds, like, an air quotes thorn
gets
inside of the
everyone to
spirit. Yeah, and she's like, "Okay, hold on to it, tie it up, and, like, we're going to get the whole bath staff to, like, pull on you, and we're going to pull out this thorn." Mm-hmm. So then all this garbage just starts coming out.
Spewing out of this
As the
monster.
water's dropping in, right?
At first,
She-
you see like a bike, and then I don't know where it's just like,
Yeah, the bike
Chairs,
took a while
wood.
to get out, and then after it did, it just like everything was just
literally
like bleh.
everything.
Well, the metaphor there is about pollution, because, like, once the spirit's clean and has all the garbage out of it, it's a water spirit. It's just a water dragon dude. He's all
Oh,
old.
that's true.
So, and he's like, and that's where you get one of those trippy ass scenes, because it's just like some old crusty man, and that's the spirit, and he's just like, "Thank you," in these ugly, like, his jaw looks like it's coming off. It's super scary, but it's a water spirit. He turns into a water dragon and dips out. And
But
like
before he does, he ends up giving her like a little
gift. It's like a little.
It was like a little ball.
moss
At first,
ball.
I didn't know what it was. I was like, okay, like maybe it's gold, like covered in dirt or something.
I thought it
but-
was wasabi.
Like, here's some wasabi.
it's like magic medicine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like another metaphor there. So like if the water spirit had never like been depolluted, then we would have never had like this magical medicine to like help people the rest of the movie, right?
Yeah, and then even right after he left, Yubaba was super proud of her, and like everyone was like, "Oh my god, like you're so good." But then from there, I believe that's when the what is it? I want to keep saying the no mask,
No face.
no face. That's when No Face 2. Like I think they show him late at night where he called like a frog in to give him, or no, what happens where like he's looking for gold or something, and then he ends up he's like,
he
here
was bathing
in the,
after hours.
Well,
Yeah.
the water spirit dropped a bunch of gold.
Oh, okay, and he was just grabbing it, and then was it, I don't know, some character came in like, hey, you're not supposed to
Yeah,
be
it was
in there.
the frog.
And then he's like, well, look, I have gold, and so he was like trying to like get him
But
close
at this point,
to
he's
him.
not speaking. He just makes these
Right.
weird noises, like, oh,
And and just has like this handful of gold like to get him towards him, but he ends up swallowing him.
Yeah, he just eats him. He gets him close enough, and he's like tempting him with gold. He's like, I have more. So the frog starts making his way up the bath, and then he just grabs him and swallows him whole.
And we haven't even seen the mouth on No Face yet.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
all we saw was the mask, but like a foot below the actual mask itself is just this giant, like 3-foot fucking mouth. Like,
And then he stole his voice.
Oh, is that how he started talking?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He stole the frog's voice?
The frog's
Yeah.
voice.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and that's another gist you'll see, like, at conventions and stuff like that, when a guy that is dressed as No Face is gonna try to give you a gold piece, because that's the gist of the whole
That's so cool.
thing.
Really?
Yeah, they will try to give you, like, a little plastic gold piece.
Like the little chocolate gold coins.
Yeah, or
that
something
they sell
like
at the
that.
dollar
Yeah.
store.
Nerds like No Face.
Yeah, and it's like No Face. And, where do we go from
He's creepy.
here?
So Shihiro, like, the next day, I think she wakes up and she's trying to look for Haku, so she can go, I think, visit her
See her
parents or
parents.
something.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, all these, like, everyone is going just crazy trying to feed No Face because he's giving out gold. And she's like, I don't care. Like, I'm gonna go look for him.
He's eating everything.
Yeah.
Like everything.
Well, at first
everything.
it's just food that they're showing that he's
Oh,
eating.
yeah.
And then from there she's like, okay, I'm gonna go look for Haku. Or, yeah, right? That's his name.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere he appears like mid-sky as a dragon. And they had actually introduced the fact that he was a dragon before that. But
The dragon design here, I think, is interesting because, okay, so it's a Chinese-style dragon, which means it's, like, long and rides air currents, right? So that's why when you see him flying, his, like, tail's spinning because he's riding the air current. But they animated a lot of, like, fur on him. So, like, he looks like a wolf in the face more than, like, what I would think a dragon looks like. I think, even in a Chinese style, I still think, like, scales, you know what I mean? Like,
It does have fur, I do get you, but I mean, you do see whiskers on on Chinese dragon stuff.
That's true.
So, you know what I'm saying?
That's
so
true.
I think because they didn't want to, I guess, make that individual drawing for whiskers and scales, I think it's just, you know, it's like Jotaro's hat.
yeah,
that it looks like
just fits his head.
It's just like, yeah, it's like melded into like the hair.
Yeah, but Vianney's right. So, like, is he hurt already at this point?
well, they're showing that he's struggling with, like, it looks like birds at first
Yeah, he's
that are
being
like
chased.
Yeah, they're chasing him first, and then she's calling him like, "Hey, over here, come over here," and then he ends up just like knocks down into the room, like he breaks like the window to get in, and then from there she notices that he's like bleeding, and all these little, it turns out that the birds aren't even birds, they're like
They're
little
like paper mache
yeah.
birds. Yeah. But they have like a mind of their own.
Right,
So
because
they're
one of
chasing him.
them kind of snuck in there and just kind of
It attached to her shoulder.
it attached to her, and
Oh, and that was interesting because, like, fast forwarding a little bit, it attached to her this little paper mache bird thing. And she ended up looking for Haku, found him all hurt on the floor. And then this little bird detaches from her and it ends up being Yubaba's twin sister.
Oh, yeah.
Zeniba.
Zemiba? Yeah. But, like, we can backtrack back to her.
But
No, well, then they show the big baby again, so...
before this, when Haku gets all bloodied up into her room or into, like, this room, she decides to follow him, right? And try to go help him.
Yes.
And that's when the sister attached to the shoulder, and then when she got into the room...
We see Haku go up to the highest window. Mm-hmm. So that's where she gets the idea, I'm just going to go straight up. And that's straight up to the top of the bathhouse, which we know to be Yubaba's, like, working quarters, basically. Mm-hmm. Which is why, I guess, the paper mache that was attacking Haku had the sense to, like, stick to Chihiro because he knew he'd make it to where Yubaba was.
Yeah, and like Karen said, we find out that was the stepsister.
But then before that...
Twin sister.
I mean, twin sister. And we haven't really seen much difference between the intentions of the twin sister and the other sister. I mean, both sisters, you know? But we know that she changed her baby into those 3 head things.
Well,
or turned those 3
that
head...
was after...
Yeah, so before that, what's her name? Shihiro? She went looking for Haku because he was, at this point, he's still a dragon, he's bleeding and stuff, but he ends up, like, disappearing from that
That's when
room.
he went up to the...
Right, that Drew was saying. And then so, as she's looking for him, she realizes that he's in Yubaba's room, and she ends up hiding under these pillows because, like, she's kind of going towards her.
Yubaba was walking in, so she's like, oh, I need to hide before I can reach
Right,
Haku.
so there's,
She
like,
needed
a
to hide.
stack of pillows that she just hides into. And it turns out that inside those pillows, it's the big baby.
Yeah.
And this big baby's like, no, stay here. Like, are you a germ or something like that, right?
I guess Yubaba had told the baby
Like,
that
can't leave
the
it or-
reason... Yeah, she can't. I guess the baby... Was it a boy or a girl?
It was a boy.
I don't know.
Hey, it looks like a boy.
it a boy?
Talk like a boy. But we know that doesn't mean anything in anime, so...
Yeah. But I guess this baby was under the impression that they could not leave this room because of the germs outside.
Right, and she's like, no, like, there's no such, well, not such thing, but she's like, no, like, you'll be fine, but either way, please let me go because I need to go save my friend. He's like, no, you're staying here, if not, I'll break your arm. Like,
His
I
name
want to play.
His name is Bo. B-O-H.
The baby?
Yeah.
I don't think I ever heard
Yeah.
him say Bo.
I only know that because I'm looking at the wiki right now.
Oh, yeah, but he's like, no, like, don't leave. And she's like, let go of me. Like, I need to go save
I'm in
my
a hurry.
friend. And she ends up kind of not disappearing. She ends up kind of sneaking out, or I don't really remember how she got out.
The little piece of paper, which the wiki describes as shikigami, was like being manipulated by Yubaba's twin sister Zeniba. So through that piece of paper, Zeniba was able to like manifest, and she turned Bo into a giant rat.
Like a hamster or something.
Yeah,
Like a hamster, I
it was
guess.
a cute, fat, like,
It
little
was.
gray hamster. So cute.
It was.
I thought it was really cute. And then like that...
Well, we haven't even described it. Yubaba in the morning after the bathhouse closes turns into a crow.
Oh, yeah.
And has
Like a little crow.
yeah, and so she just, her nose is so big she looks like a crow's beak. And so when she flies off in the middle of the night, she just turns into a crow, and she has like a mini crow harpy thing next to her.
A little mini-me.
Yeah, so that's what Zeniba turns into, like a tiny little big-eyed bird. So like the meme, the rest of the movie is Bo as a giant hamster rat mouse thing, and he's being just
You
carried.
make it sound so ugly. It's like
cute
this
little
cute,
hamster
yeah.
looking thing.
Yeah,
just
well,
fluffy.
I like what the bird turns into more, because so he ends up carrying Bo the rest of the movie. It's just like this little big-eyed.
Yeah, it looks like
wings are all
a black
tiny.
rock with 2 oversized googly eyes on it.
Yeah, like the way the sprites look, just like with a beak, just
Yeah.
like a little black ball with big eyes and a beak.
Did you ever watch those short cartoons about that fly?
Which one?
like old school
I
Cartoon
know.
Network with a fly and it had shoes and it just flies around the kitchen all day and it's just like little shorts.
I don't remember any of that.
I don't remember that either.
No, I'll show you guys. We'll probably do, but it's just back there. But anyways, yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It does remind me of that.
She ends up
No, from there, that's when she gets...
Trapdoor?
No, the medicine to Haku.
Right, but before that, it's when the trapdoor opens and then Haku's falling into like this deep hole where like spirits are.
Right, so like Haku is there when Zeniba's going off and transforming everybody.
Oh, that's right.
So he just gets like pushed into like a hole that goes straight to the basement, and there's like a bunch of demons there that try to eat him.
Yeah, and then he like just like crashes into where that boiling man is.
Kamaji.
Kamaji, the boiler room. That's where she force feed him that fruit that she had.
Yeah.
Like the medicine that...
The water spirit.
There you go.
And I guess it tastes really gross or something, because it showed prior to this that she
tried it.
took a little bite and it was just disgusting. That's why you thought it was a wasabi. So she's like holding, since Haku's still in dragon form, when she gives it to him, she's like holding his mouth shut because, I don't know, I guess he's gonna go crazy, or it tastes so nasty she doesn't want him to spit it back up.
Yeah. And then at that point, like, I think he's just... he spits out that...
The gold stamp.
Yeah, so the only reason...
Seal. There you go.
The only reason that the paper mache / the twin sister of the witch had followed her up there, had attached herself, is because she wanted to find Haku because Haku stole her golden seal.
And the golden seal is for what? To stamp the names of...
No, well, this is the kind of seal that you seal like a letter with, right? Yeah, so it's one of those big wax seals. But, like, when even Kamaji sees it after Haku spits it out, he's like, yo, that's the golden seal. That's some, like, high-grade magic stuff. So that...
Oh, it's the source of her magic.
Is that what he said?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so it's some... Yeah, so... But, like, when he spits it out, Yubaba's curse on Haku comes spit out at the same time, which is just like the little black slug.
Mm-hmm. Right, that she ends up stepping on, and then he's like, oh no, it's bad luck. And then I was telling Aldo, I'm like, it's funny because it's like the Mexican version of Cortala, like where she puts her fingers together, her index fingers together to like cut away the bad luck.
So yeah, she stepped in this bad luck slug thing that was the source of the mind control on Haku. And it's funny that you say that, babe, because I was about to say it. That little gesture when the boiler room guy, what's his name? Kamaji, he sees that he stepped on it. She's like, hey, it's like go like this, and
what it's a little different than what Vianney is describing, because it's almost like the goat horn, like in metal, like because it's like the index and the pinky, and then you're cutting both of them. But I see what you mean. You know what I mean? Because normally in our culture, I guess it would be like just the index fingers.
Because even like the little, well, technically the big baby, but as a little mouse / hamster thing, like he even like
imitates it.
And I thought that was super cute.
It was like such a giggly moment. Like you see it and it's kind of corny and it's cute, and you know it's like superstition kind of too.
And now that I think about it, this thought just like flew into my head. I mean, we've seen plenty of anime with the string of faith, or the string of destiny. It's like, would that have come out from that? It's like,
I don't think so.
Like your destiny is no longer with mine, so please, like, cortala. You know what I'm saying?
I could see that.
I could see that.
I wonder what the real logic. But I took it more like just the because the whole movie is just basically about Japanese Taoism. Like it's just like hyper nature Japanese spiritualism, and that's just I just threw it away as one of those things. But you might be right. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, and it was really weird to see. So she gets this gold stamp. She still has the little mouse chubby guy and the little fly thing.
Kamaji gives her tickets to the train.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, because she wants to go return it. Basically,
she sets out a fucking action plan. So she's like, Haku's fucked up. No faces downstairs. We gotta go see Yubaba's twin sister. And like she just sets a priority list, kind of. She's like, okay, I got these three issues we're gonna deal with. No Face, Haku, Yubaba, blah blah blah.
Yeah, because at this point, No Face is asking for her, right? Like everyone's scared of him because he's already eaten like 3 people or things, whatever.
Yeah.
And before she goes on her mission, she's like, okay, let me take care of this one thing. So she goes, and he's doing the same gesture of like trying to hand her that gold. And she's like, no, like, I don't need it. And she's like stubborn about it. And then he's stubborn about it to the point where he gets upset and starts chasing after her.
I just think No Face is just like some really weird, like obsessive, creepy guy at the bar or something. You know what I mean?
I think he even mentioned that he's just lonely and doesn't have a family or
that's
something.
what he said too.
So he is those guys at the bar.
Yeah, I think he mentioned it right there and then where he's like, oh, because she's like, do you not have a family or something? He's like,
She's like, I'm gonna leave. I think you should leave too. You don't have friends or family to go to. And he's like, no.
And then, and if we talk about, like, for example, Lovecrafty kind of stuff,
yeah,
we know that one of the entities within Lovecrafting literature is like the uninvited, which is the people. It's people that are that once you show them some sort of like hospitality or something like that, they will leave you alone.
Yeah.
But if you don't, if you are bad-hearted, or if you have bad intentions or some way, like, they will kill you. They will rip out your heart because you have no heart.
oh, I didn't know that.
Damn.
I know. Like,
The Uninvited, based on Lovecraft's story, The Outsider.
The Outsider. That's
Yeah,
what it's
I
called.
didn't know none of that, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah, so it kind of reminded me of that for me.
I love Lovecraft. That's
Lovecraft
dope.
is
I
crazy.
love that. Okay, cool. So that where even are we? Are we back on the train yet? Oh wait, no.
Well, yeah,
Is No Face gone?
no, so he's chasing after her, and then she's just trying to get him out of that
Yeah,
spa
she
thing.
said that it's the bathhouse that was making him crazy. So she needed to get
Well,
him
she
away
gave him
from
the
it.
medicine too.
Oh, that's
Oh,
true.
yeah.
So she
did.
gave half the medicine
That's
to
why
Haku.
he was angry.
She gave half the
Oh, there
medicine.
you go.
Yeah.
I was like, why was he chasing after her?
Yeah, she gave half to Haku and then half to No Face, and then No Face just started spitting everything up, like all that
Yeah.
food,
Like,
like
even
the
the
people
people.
he ate.
He's like pissed about it. He's like, why did you do this to me? And starts
There you
chasing
go.
her.
And then so she, at the same time, like, she's not even scared. She's just trying to get him out of that
She's
place.
like, yeah, I'm just trying to redirect him elsewhere. She's like, you'll be better if you're not here.
Right.
And then I feel the reason that he goes a little bit manic within the bathhouse is because everybody's greedy.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to get tips.
true.
Everybody's trying to.
Because he doesn't have a personality. He's No Face.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he just like feeds on the energy of everybody around him. But like Aldo said in the very beginning, the bath staff is super like mafioso. Like they're just about the money. They're all greedy. Like what rich people are going to come into the house. So yeah.
Yeah, you're right, babe.
I'm sorry. But yeah, we see her that she gives him the medicine, and all the time, every time they encounter the No Face encounters Shihiro, he always tries to give her something like, here, take it. It's like, be greedy, giving her the opportunity to be greedy.
And she's like, no, I don't need it.
It's like, I'm already trapping here.
I
It's
don't
like, I need to
want-
get the
yeah.
fuck out of here. Yeah.
I don't
I don't
need
even
your
want to
drink,
be
bro.
here right now, bro.
I don't need your drink.
I don't need your drink, bro. Leave me alone. I just want to hang out with my friends.
Back off, Bill Cosby.
But so yeah, so she chases him all the way out the bathhouse. He's like very smaller because he threw up all that stuff.
Very smaller.
He's back to like his original size
Right.
at this point.
And then she ends up like getting to the train stop. Right?
Well, I want to point out that like it was of such importance for her to go to Yababa's sister? Yubaba to return the seal because originally when Shiharu didn't realize that Haku had actually stolen the seal, she was like, no, Haku wouldn't do that. And that's when the twin sister was like, oh, well, there's a curse on that seal, and if somebody steals it, they're gonna die. So her being under the impression that, oh, because Haku stole the seal and he's on the verge of dying right now, she's like, I can reverse it by returning the seal to her and apologizing on his behalf.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what she does.
Well, yeah, when she breaks out Lin, which is the girl she was apprenticing under.
Yes.
Like, Lin is there in a little paddle boat of sorts, and we see No Face chasing her out, and No Face just whole ass just like jumps off a bridge, and they go to the train station to try to get to, what is it, like Swamp Down or something? It was like a gross name.
Yeah, it was a gross name, but then they get on these, well, they're waiting by the train station, which is just like these railroad tracks. But it's really cool. The animation is super cool because they make things trippy that don't sound trippy unless you're watching it, because you're thinking train tracks, but these train tracks are like underwater at this point.
Oh yeah, because they had rained like super crazy.
And because it rained, it turned into the ocean. Yeah. So that's why they had to be on a paddle boat.
Yeah, and then so they finally get into the train, and then they get to that one place. What was it called?
Down Swamp, you said?
Swamp Down.
Swamp Down.
And then so they see her twin sister, Yubaba's twin sister, and like at this point she's like, "Oh, call me Granny" or something like that.
And that was weird because they spent like 3 hours together, and at the end she's like, "Granny, I'm gonna miss you," as if that's her actual grandma.
Nicer.
Yeah, she's super nice.
I thought she was gonna be like super evil or something.
They portrayed her to be the more evil of the two, but she was a sweetheart.
She was just kind, and then
she made her tea.
Swamp Bottom.
Swamp Bottom. Okay.
And I mean, it's still obsessive guy at the bar keeps following her all the way to the train.
In the train, like
and in the train, and I'm going back to The Outsiders, where it's like this guy is just like being treated so nicely by Shiro. You know?
And now he's convinced it's the love of his life.
Yeah, absolutely. And all these spirits, once they get into the train, and I love the headless like train guy. That guy that stamps your tickets. That's great. That was trippy. But everybody's like almost fading away in this train, which is weird.
Yeah, it almost looks like a train to the afterlife or something. Like it's like when we talked about fucking what's that most recent Pixar movie?
Soul.
Yeah, it's like the escalator to Soul, like when you're gonna disappear into the great beyond almost.
Mm-hmm. And what happens to that? We have
we go to Swamp Bottom. We meet like probably one of the coolest design characters, I think, which is just a light post with a foot.
I skipped all that.
The little Pixar.
Yeah, it literally looks like the Pixar logo. That like bouncing lamp.
Yeah, it even made the little noise like.
So they just follow this bouncing lamp to Zeniba's place.
Door.
Yeah, and she just turns out to be the complete opposite of Yubaba. She's not manipulative. She's super nice. She's like, "Hey, call me Granny. We can knit some shit together. I'll
Granny.
I'll
they
cook
did.
For you.
That's true.
I'm gonna cook for you. You can sleep here. Don't even worry about it."
And again, just like Sophie in Howl's Castle, like she goes with it. She's like, "Hey, Granny, what's up? When are we gonna bake cookies and shit and whatnot?" But
she questions it like once. Like, shouldn't I be doing something? And Zeniba's just like, "Nah, don't even trip. Like, just go back to sleep."
Mm-hmm.
And then what happens after that? Like that's
when she got the Liga also.
Yeah, that's true. The little
within
this
they give her like a magical.
It was really cute too, though, because the little mouse hamster thing is just like on that little.
Yeah.
What is it called?
The
wheel.
No,
yeah, like the spinning wheel. But...
spinning wheel, right?
Spin engine. Almost.
Is it? I don't know. Like, you know how like little hamsters just get on there on their.
But it was
wheels?
super cute because that's right before this. They were talking about the parents being pigs and stuff, and she's like, "Oh well, can you lift the curse on the mouse, which used to be the baby, and the little bird? I don't know what it used to be. It used to be the crow." And she was like, "Oh, their curse got lifted hours ago. You have to want to change back." And then she looks at both of them, and these two little creatures are like, "Nope." Like they're just like,
they're just like, "It's my new life, bro."
Yeah, we're chilling. I'm just a big ass hamster.
Like this.
Yeah, but that's when they give her that Liga.
So, and it's just, what was it for? It's made of magical thread, and it's a hair tie.
And it's because so she made it, Granny made it, and then her little friends made it.
But like for what? What does it do?
It's supposed to protect her.
Oh, okay.
It's a friendship bracelet, bro. You never had one? Huh?
You didn't give my boyfriend a friendship bracelet?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if he's up to it.
No!
Now I don't know.
You didn't let him talk to you like that?
So yeah, she gets her friendship bracelet hair tie so that she can go punch Yubaba in the face, right?
Yeah.
Like
at this point, like, there's a guest at the door, or like someone.
Oh yeah.
Like someone approaches the door. Like she's like, "Oh, can you go open it?" And it turns out to be Haku, and he's already at like the. Was he already human again?
Yes, he woke up at the boiler room.
As human.
As human.
Oh, but no, when he
rolled
appeared,
up to the house as a dragon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. And she's like, oh my god, like, you're okay. And then that's when he just, like, turned human to apologize.
And he was healed and everything. It was better.
He was just saying, like, I'm sorry, I took it. I keep forgetting the name of that thing.
The golden seal.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
The golden seal. And I think she was just like, don't worry about it. Like, just take care of...
Yeah, she's like, I'll forgive you as long as you take care of Shiharu. Or what is it?
Shihiro?
No, Haku.
No, the girl.
Oh,
Shihiro.
Yeah,
Shihiro.
Are you good with work? Can we
But right...
What?
Huh?
What?
Nothing, Drew. And then...
But right when... Okay, so there was a scene slightly before this. So right when Hakuro woke up, he went to go confront the witch. And he was like, I need you. I'm not under your spell anymore. What I need you to do is give her back her pig parents as humans and let her go. Rip up her contract. Right. And she was like, I will, but I'm going to put her to one last test. And then that's when he went to go back with her and stuff.
You're right.
So on their way returning to... back from the train.
Well, even then, like, after they had shifting back to when he showed up and stuff like that, within the time that she was with Granny, she was trying to get her to remember just about herself. Because apparently, like, and to try to remember about him too, or something like that, to help him remember himself. Am I right? Like, is that...
I know it's for sure remembering herself, and then...
It's while she was riding on his back, she was remembering the sensation of it being, like, comfortable and safe with him before, which that's because she almost drowned in a river.
So if you allow me, before we keep going, she rips up her contract.
Right.
Which makes her remember her name. Right?
No, not yet.
Not yet?
No, at this point, like, it's because we had shifted back to Karen.
Oh, okay.
Karen just explaining that Haku had asked Yubaba, like, hey, like, I'm gonna go after her, but if you promise me to do this and that. And then we went back to just that scene.
But I do know what you were talking about.
Yeah,
because
right?
you were talking about when
like, I was trying to
Yubaba's twin sister made her sit, like, on a chair and think about her life. Because she was starting to lose memories about herself, about her parents. And Yubaba was like, well, you know what you need to do? You need to go sit over there and think for a moment and try to come up with your own memories. Mm-hmm. And she was like, I don't remember. So that's when Haku came, picked her up, they took off. And that's when she was riding on his back.
There you go.
And so, like, trying to reminisce things, like, feelings, whatever she had. And so she felt safe. Yeah.
She had this memory of her being, like, underwater. And, like, her shoe kind of...
yeah, you just see her shoe,
off.
like, in a river.
Yeah, and then... I think that's all that they really showed. And then she's like, oh my god, like, I think
I remember something.
Like, I think that's why we're so, like, comfortable with each other.
That's why you think you remember me.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Like, I think I know why I think you remember me is because you saved me. It's like, you pushed me into the shore of this...
Right.
I thought you were going to say push me into the river.
So he used the current to push her to shore. So that's when she's like, I know your name. You're the Kohaku River.
And then...
I am the Kohaku River.
He's he's not even a dragon. I'm like, are they going to fly?
That's what happened. Like, his dragon shell, like, broke off of him.
I literally just told Aldo, I was like, wait, like, are they not falling out of the sky?
I thought that too. I don't think I said anything at the time, but I saw it and I was like, oh shit, like, they're just gonna die now? Yeah.
Credits are gonna roll. Great fucking movie.
Yeah, but he ends up being just a spirit.
He was, the river spirit.
The river spirit.
Again, you know, like, you have, like in Mexico a lot, you will have, like, Popocatépetl was his name, like, it's literally a volcano named after, like, this Aztec god warrior guy, and then you have, like, the volcano next to it and stuff like that. So it's pretty much like that lake or that river was named after, you know, some sort of spirit or
So then, let's see. They get back.
They get back. Yubaba's pissed. She's like, where the fuck is my baby?
I'm ready for...
Yeah!
And he's like, little mouse. She's like, you didn't even bring my baby back.
Yeah, super salty. And then the baby just, like, transforms out of the mouse.
He's like, Mom, I had so much fun. Not being in that room all day was great. Like,
with all those floor pillows and stuff.
And all the bath staff is there. So they're all like, yo, like, she did so good. She saved the bathhouse like twice. Yeah, and then I was like, no, a deal's a deal. I still have to test her one more time. And you hear them boo her. They're just like, boo.
And even like the baby Bo, you said?
Yeah, I was trying to
convince her, like, no, like, why are you doing this?
Like, chill, Mom.
Be mean to her, Mom. That's my friend.
Yeah, she's like, no. And then she, was like, no, that's fine. A deal's a deal. And so basically the test was to identify which pig or what pigs were her parents.
Out of like 8 pigs maybe?
Yeah. They had like 8 pigs in the background just
chilling.
And behind a little fence. So she was supposed to choose which of those were her parents.
And she's just staring at them for a while, and then she realizes, like, none of these are my parents. And she tells Yubaba that, and she's like, are you sure? Is that your final answer? And she's like, yeah. And so those pigs turn into part of the staff.
Yeah. The bat staff just like transformed, and they were like, you did it! And now the whole bat staff, and even like the boiler room guys there.
And like the contract just disappears out of nowhere.
And then they go like, but wait, my parents. And then Haku's like, your parents are back on the other side as soon as you broke the spell, girl. It's like, what are you talking about? So
let's go.
Get your ass over there.
Instead of seeing this like a section of water which separates the human world and the spirit world, that like fucking Moses, it's like split open. There's no water. And, like, she just has to walk and not turn back because then she'll be pulled back or some shit like that?
Yeah,
it's
he
like
just kept
temptation
emphasizing
almost.
that you can't turn back around. It's like you just keep going until you're on the other side.
Right, so she goes back through the tunnel that I first mentioned from the very beginning. And it's the parents waiting, like, hey, where have you been? Like,
don't be running away.
Yeah.
Like, no, motherfucker, you guys ate that food, turned into pigs, and then I have to go through this shit.
And at this point, you don't know, like, how much time's passed. But then they get back to the car, and there's all leaves on it.
There's, like, dust inside.
The parents don't realize that any time has passed.
Right.
They have no recollection.
She even looks back when she could, and she's like, did this really just happen? But then they even show, like, the
rubber band.
Yeah, I'm like, how do you say it in English?
The hair tie.
The hair tie.
I'm still, I don't know. Every time I've probably seen it 4 times, and I'm still inclined to, like, they want you to make it feel like it was a dream, almost. You know what it is? It was like 10-year-old's like day fantasy, like, because she was miserable about moving to a new town.
Maybe she was asleep the entire time in the car.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
No,
like,
because they showed the car.
Yeah,
Like, I know you want it to think that or to be that, but it's not.
But it's what he felt to everybody at the end.
Yeah, it's supposed to feel like a dream, because like she just goes into another world, and it's so just fast-paced and magical, and it's like
it's just so not real life. So she's like, how did that actually happen?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then even the parents are like, oh, well, they go back to the conversation of like, oh, your new school and new life. And she's like, I think I can handle it.
Yeah.
Like after that.
She's like, girl, you don't even know.
Yeah.
I think Spirited Away is more like a childhood narrative about like learning responsibility or like
so
learning more about
what
life.
Did you guys get out of it?
So if you allow me,
no.
I love, and I can't believe I just barely noticed this pattern that we asked this question. We asked that question that we asked at the beginning, right? What is it in small terms? What is it the movie about, right? And I didn't get it until we had the conversation, and I think it's about almost like not being greedy and be happy with what you have.
Yeah,
to me, that's what it sounded to me. You know?
Yeah, I got, like, just after finishing everything, I kind of got more of, like, just appreciating what you have and...
Yeah.
Because that realization that I have with this comparison with Lovecraft entity, the uninvited, it almost feels like that, and especially No Face and the entire spirited world was pretty much greedy in a way.
Mm-hmm. Except for this one little girl.
Exactly, except for this one little girl.
I see it like that, but like...
And the grandpa.
A subversion of the acceptance thing, almost.
Wait, the boiler man.
Oh,
he wasn't
Hamaji.
greedy.
Oh.
Yeah, he was like the only other nice person in there.
Well, technically it was the grandpa, right?
I see it as like a subversion.
Oh, that's why.
Hold on. Let me finish.
It was the grandpa.
Yeah. Okay,
Let me finish.
Go on,
Hold on.
whatever. Go.
I see it as like a subversion of like trying to accept what you have, because it's not only like, because she's a child, she has a big imagination. Like, she's like, what if I block out all this stuff I don't want to actually deal with, and I pretend I'm in like another fantastical world? It ended up sucking. It was the worst for her. Like, she ended up having to work super hard and got hurt and beat up, and it was like, I agree with that, but it's like they used the fantasy in like a really like creative way, I guess I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we've mentioned this before. Ghibli is what Disney is here in the West.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I now that I'm starting to actually like get analytical on these movies, I really like Ghibli. I wish
I still love Ghibli. Yeah.
But I wish I had like the Disney, like how Disney people are so like, oh, I'm a Disney person. I'm thinking I'm starting to become like a Ghibli person.
I'm a Ghibli person. How do you self-identify Ghibli?
I'm a Ghibli person.
It's just how did I describe it?
I don't know.
It's a vibe, but what?
I don't remember what you said.
It's like terrifying, but it's a vibe or something. Like it's a vibe with good animation. Because it's like, it's feel goody. Like it's not substantive. Like I can't be like, you know what, the writing was shit in this scene, blah, blah, blah,
it was
blah.
fun.
It was a poor narrative because of this plot structure, but you can't do that because it's just like dumb fun.
Yeah, it was fun to watch.
It
From
was.
the very beginning, I'm like, oh, cool.
Like when we see Chihiro escape the bathhouse as a whole, there's like a whole extra second of her like clicking her shoe on the floor, like, and it's a really fluid, just quick like half second of animation, and it's like Studio Ghibli's telling you like, yo, like we are good at animating.
We got money.
And I didn't even notice it until watching it today.
Wait, when?
When she asked the soot sprites to give her shoes back because she's gonna go back outside.
Leaving. Yeah, outside.
She's leaving, and there's just that scene. She puts her shoes back in, and there's just that whole other second. She just like raises her foot and pats it back on the ground, but it's just so fluid.
Oh,
It's like when you're putting your shoe on in the morning or whenever you're getting ready, you put it on, but obviously it doesn't go into your foot that easily. There's usually like a little strap behind, and you pull it back so your foot can get completely in, or you stick like your pointer finger in your shoe and just attach it normally from the back. So you actually see her do that, takes another step, and then with her other foot, she just taps like the tip of her shoe against the floor to adjust it. So it's like when you're just putting your shoes on and like making sure they're there right and walk away.
Like, you know, that was a team's whole day, was that one like scene, is what I'm saying. Like there's like 20 frames in like this 1 second.
Because it was just so fluid, how you said.
And even in wind, and even in wind takes, like even in outside takes, when the wind is just going, I mean, they could have saved a lot of time and a lot of money on not making the hair and clothing move.
Yeah,
but guess
it
what?
have to be that way.
And that's why I get so annoyed. Like I talk about shitty 3D animation all the time, because like this movie's budget was 2 billion yen, which is what, like $20 million, $19 million at the time, maybe something like that. I'm just looking at the wiki. Don't yell at me.
Okay.
But it's what I didn't even notice until watching it today is that Yubaba is animated in 3D. But because of the cell shading is like really good quality, you can't tell unless you're like some nerd like me looking for it, right? Mm-hmm. And I never noticed that. I'd never noticed it. If you ever look at any Yubaba scene, she's the only non-2-dimensional figure because she has 3D cell shading. Mm-hmm. But you can't tell. It's so good. It's so high quality stuff. And like in previous episodes, I keep complaining to Aldo that the most recent season of Attack on Titan now has like a bunch more CGI.
To everyone about that.
It's bad. It looks really bad and it looks cheap is my issue.
It's bad. Yeah, absolutely. And shit, we can make that conversion to the next episode we're going to have with Beastars. And Beastars is almost all fucking 3D fucking modeled.
It looks great.
And it looks fucking
and
good.
It looks dope. And
hold on, before we get to that, yes, she is 3D modeled. And it is done so good. And I feel that animes now can take a page from Ghibli.
Like this came out in 2001. This is 20 years old in 6 months.
And you don't notice this as a regular like anime watch or entry level anime watcher like you guys, but I'm pretty sure they made the decision to put your eyes on her head, on her face, because she is weird looking. She's the most weird looking character of the entire thing.
Yeah.
And it just wants you to draw attention to that because in some way it looks off, but not off enough to be like, oh shit, it looks bad as a 3D model.
Yeah, it looks really good. And like, there's no reason that like things look as bad in 3-dimensional modeling as they do now. Like if they could do this 20 years
ago. Has shown otherwise. So
okay. We talked about the narrative. Do we have any final closing thoughts on Spirited Away?
Did you guys know why it's called Spirited Away?
Because of the spirits.
Because the lake spirit
went away
from its lake. That's what I thought it was.
I'm like, well, I knew because you told me that. I was like, hey, so he's a spirit. You're like, yeah, that's why it's called that. I'm like, okay, sorry.
I was just being a nerd.
I think it's good. It's like, it's made so much money for a reason. It's just...
10 out of 10, to be honest.
Yeah, 10 out of 10. Like, it's so compact and just, like, well-structured. And there was no cause to count, like, press pennies at this point. You know what I mean? Like, it was just...
fine.
We want to make a quality product, and they did exactly that.
Mm-hmm. And I like that it's so all over the place. But sometimes you watch things that are just so all over the place and you hate it because you have to keep up with 10 million different things and you're trying to follow along with it. But this movie is just, it flows nicely. There's a whole bunch of things going on and everything's really weird, but it's interesting and it's not too complicated.
Mm-hmm. It was a little hard to talk about it, but at the same time, because you're like, wait, what happened here? Because you already want to skip all that, but you're like, no, there's other details.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about right now in our pee break, that it is easier for you guys to talk about it because we're trying to like almost like hybrid think about it. And
yeah, it's like, I like having like you guys here or even people like Valentin because their understanding of whatever anime is a lot more surface level. Me and Aldo spend 2 hours every week, like trying to deconstruct a deconstruction of an anime. And at that point, like Spirited Away doesn't want that. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, no, you're here in the moment. Just take shit in. Like you don't need to overly think about the imagery, the writing. Like just enjoy it. Like it's
the purpose.
Yeah.
It's a ride. It's a journey. Yeah. And yeah, we can't really put like, you like it. We can't put a rating to it because it's amazing. It's just like a fucking movie, a Disney movie. It's a Pixar movie. It's a fucking soul. It's
like, imagine you trying to like rate Fantasia in 2020. Like, how would you do that? You know what I mean? Like,
you will be hung. You will be hung in the middle of town.
But yeah, I love it. I'm sure anybody listening to this podcast probably already seen it. Like, because it's really like people loosely affiliated with anime, especially once you start getting into anime like films and stuff. It's just like, oh well. You're going to watch Spirited Away, like, first. Mm-hmm. It's going to be, like, those 3 Ghibli movies. It's going to be, like, Spirited Away,
Ponjo,
Howl's Moving...
Neighbor.
Yeah.
Well, Ponjo's a little more underground, but yeah, you're right.
And My Neighbor Totoro, maybe.
Yeah.
And it's great. I don't know. I love it. I think it's good.
Yeah, that was great.
Anybody else?
No.
Well, nerds, that was Spirited Away. It had the highest gross movie for 19 years now. Amazing movie. We'll recommend it. I know that our listeners already know about this, but if anybody's there in intro level, go into HBO Max. They have an entire section on Ghibli and just watch all the movies.
Shout out to Mr. Ghibli.
And Aldo and Miyazaki have the same... Aldo and Mr. Miyazaki have the same birthday.
Yeah. That's
You're
great.
Spirited Azaki.
Yeah.
So does that mean nerd down?
Nerd down.
Nerd down.
Nerd down.
And that was episode 28. Spirited Away. Thank you guys for joining us at Between Nerds. Please, again, follow us on Twitter, on Instagram at Between Nerds. Also, email us any concerns to the email betweennerdspodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for using the hashtag. Thank you, Karen, for liking and making your own comment because he got us like 25 likes.
What was the hashtag?
Hashtag EP Fire Nerds.
And we are giving back to...
the El Paso Fire Departments.
For what month?
For the month of January.
So it's up to the 31st, so people still have an extra week.
Yes, sir.
Okay, awesome. And does that mean the giveaway is still open? By using hashtag EPFireNerds, I will be automatically entered into the January giveaway for the Between Nerds podcast?
Yes.
Whoa.
You're right. And thank you very much to this young, beautiful ladies. My mother-to-be, my girlfriend, of Saeed Mendes. So thank you guys for coming, and that was great. I had a good time.
I thought it was good. I think it's funny that, like, we've already hit our 28th episode. Like, I feel like we're still on episode 16, if you ask me honestly. Because I feel like we had somebody on our Twitter this week that was like, hey, I'm watching Akame ga Kill. And I'm just like, oh, that was so recent. And then I go through, like, our episode list. That's, like, episode 16 in November or something. I'm just like, time is just passing so weirdly while I'm just spending my weeks watching anime.
I'm so proud of you guys. Like, your 28th episode already?
Weekly episode 2.
We're about to pass 1,900 downloads. This is probably going to be our most successful month because we get 5 episodes in January. After the next one, we're pretty much almost guaranteed to surpass October.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like we were looking at our analytics the other day, and the time that it took us to hit 1,000 downloads. It's almost like split in half with the
less. So we hit 1,000 downloads in November. We uploaded in July, so that's 4 months. We're 2 months after that. So half. Mm-hmm. So half. Yeah. Half the time we're almost at like the same number of downloads.
And that's great. Like, again, thank you guys for listening. Thank you to all our guests again, girls. Thank you very much for watching this movie.
You're not invited next week.
You guys are not invited. Actually, nobody's invited next week because next week we're gonna be doing our B-Stars episode.
Yeah, B-Stars is in no, like, not being facetious or being ironic, I really do think that Beastars is the best anime that came out in 2020.
Is that the one with the animals?
Yeah, with the animals.
Oh, okay.
And it's all 3D modeling. It's not, okay, it's not.
It's actually, I've been watching it with Aldo, and it's pretty fun.
That's what I mean.
It's still furries.
No, it's not furries because...
That's what I thought too. But it's not bad.
It is unsettling because the animals, again, like just what we watch in Spirited Away when the parents turn into pigs, like the humanoid animal characters are hyper realistic.
Yeah. And Orin Studio is like the innovators in Japan when it comes to 3D modeling for animes. Like, if anybody was going to do Beastars correctly, because it's all anime modeling, it's fucking, how did I describe it last week? It's Zootopia.
Oh,
it's Zootopia.
Absolutely.
It's Zootopia, but Japanese and in high school, right? And you think about like how high budget that Disney movie was just to make like the furs realistic. Beastars tries to do the same on like 1/10 of that budget. And so the 3D modeling is just hyper, and it's not just furry shit. Like, it's about like the insecurities of being like a teenager in high school, to be honest.
If you were to change the animation to regular humans, you'd be like, yo, what the fuck is going on here?
It's like some 90210 level shit. Like, it's just like teenagers just doing bad shit and just... It's, what's that HBO show that I was watching? It's like Euphoria, kind of, but Japanese and anime.
An A24, right? Show?
It's an A24 show, and we love A24.
I need to check it out. Yeah, we all love... Yeah, that shit. But it is very good. Like, I know I saw it that way. I know before you saw it that way, that it was like just fairy shit. And we're not going to apologize to some fairies right now. You know why? Because that shit's frowned upon.
I never made fun of the furries.
Anyways, yeah, it's really good story. And I don't know. I'm excited to talk about it.
It's like Mean Girls. What?
You're
no,
a mean girl.
Have you seen Mean Girls, Vianney?
Yes, I know my boyfriend here has not.
Okay, but would you call it like a straight like a really corny teenage comedy about what? Oh God, is it like Dawson's Creek or something, but a movie? Like, it's not a 2000s teenage.
Yeah, it's just like very dramatic for...
It's funny. Like, Mean Girls is funny. Aldo has like a sense that Mean Girls is like some super Notebook-ish, like...
Yeah, no, it is a funny movie.
It's funny.
It reminds me of Hot Girl with Rob Schneider.
No, absolutely not.
It's way better.
Yeah.
One of these days.
It's because I like Van Wilders. I like American Pies.
It's like American Pie.
Yeah, more than...
That's what I'm saying. You think it's something
like
that it's
not.
not.
The comedy from it is within that
because
same...
Tina Fey wrote and directed it. Tina Fey is hilarious.
I didn't know that.
What do you mean you didn't know that? That's like all anybody knows about Mean Girls.
I didn't know. I barely know the movie. You know, I didn't know it was Tina Fey. I like Tina Fey.
Yeah, she's hilarious.
Yeah.
I know.
That's why the movie's funny. Like,
you know what? I'll watch it. We'll watch it and we'll break it down on fucking the Nerd Down next time.
Oh, okay. I was like, can I be invited to
to the Mean Girls episode.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll watch Mean Girls for
Nerd Down
for the Nerd Down next week.
Yay!
But also next week we are watching Beastars, directed by Studio Orange. It's only 12 episodes. Season 2 started in Japan 3 weeks ago. I'm excited. We're gonna get the dub on Netflix in June. And since that is the last episode we were doing for the month of January, that is going to tie into our theme for the month of February, which is going to be lovey, Valentine's kind of theme. But at the same time, the week of Valentine's Day, we're doing an Valentine's Day theme. But it's still all going to be like romance, comedy, rom-com-ish animes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think it's fun because honestly, we still have a long time to go to cover a lot of animes. So honestly, why not do like a theme month if we can?
So are you guys not doing a poll for this month?
We took so that we are completely honest, since we're always preaching that please send us anime recommendations on Twitter or Instagram or the email, we're gonna actually the whole month of February was planned around recommendations we got on both Instagram and Twitter.
Oh, okay.
So that's where we got the Rent a Girlfriend suggestion. We're doing Love is War. We're doing
I Want to Eat Your Pancreas.
When I Eat Your Pancreas. And it's just...
What was that last one?
It's one of those ones that has like a really bad English translation. So you're almost...
What is the title?
When I Ate Your Pancreas.
Oh yeah, When I Ate or I Want to Eat Your Pancreas?
I want to eat your pancreas, which is Kimi no Suizo. Also known as Let Me Eat Your Pancreas. Mm-hmm. But like it's just one of those. It's like the title only makes sense in Japanese.
Oh, okay.
Like it's not. I hope it's not about a pancreas. I've never seen this one, to be honest.
I never seen it, but I'm pretty sure already. I think I know what it's gonna be about. So.
I hope it's
a pancreas.
To be honest, there's only maybe been 3 or 4 anime we've ever watched out of the 35 or so that I hadn't already seen. So, and I get excited when stuff like this comes up because I'm like, I haven't seen this, and this is 5 years old. That's not that old.
You've watched everything in the last 5 years in anime world.
Yeah.
Probably
Probably
not.
Yeah, probably not. Apparently we're making.
I hope not, or this is gonna be a really short podcast.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we're in the high swing again of the winter season, so we still have a lot of shit to go, and a lot of shit's gonna keep coming out, and we still gonna have content. So
probably tomorrow, me and Karen are gonna watch episode 3 of The Promised Neverland season 2. I know for a fact tonight, when Karen's doing her homework, I'm going to be watching the most recent episode of Attack on Titan because shit's getting really wild right now. And I know I need to catch up on Jujutsu Kaisen's episode from Friday. But I'm still watching, like, American television, too, because me and Karen watched episode 3 of WandaVision this morning.
Yeah, that's been the most newest installment of the MCU.
Mm-hmm. It's the only thing we gotten in, like, a whole ass year, so...
And that's what I like about Disney, seeing almost every opportunity that shows up. And I think that they can really tell a lot of, like, the solo stories within their shows in Disney Plus.
It's like the argument for capitalism. It's like Disney wants money so bad they will innovate by any means necessary to give good content. Yeah, because they need those subscriptions. You know what I mean?
Yeah, same motivation like Disney has. We would want that like in our government by then.
And I think this. Yeah. Well. I think this episode was really good. I wasn't trying to be critical last week, but what I was trying to say is that like it just was clear that it was going to be leading up to more, and I think episode 3 we're finally starting to get into that because the second half of episode 3, like these episodes are only 25-30 minutes long. Mm-hmm. So the second half of this episode is just revelations on revelations. It's just like this character knows what's up. Vision smart enough to finally know what's going on, and the neighbors know what's up, and they're talking shit amongst each other. And even when Wanda resets time, Vision still has a sense to be trying to talk to the neighbors in the background to try to figure out like what his situation is.
Inedible.
Yeah.
And I I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of where the whole thing is going. But even knowing that, I feel like me and my girl had a lot of fun watching the 2 episodes, right? You know what? I think it's because we're kind of like what do you call when you connect with something?
Bonding?
No. You see something and
I have no idea, bro.
like we can connect.
Compare?
We can connect with the show, I guess, in a way. We've been living together for a while.
Relate?
Relate. There you go. We can relate to the show a lot because I mean we've been living together for a while. We're about to have a baby, and it's just funny. And then, like the small nothingness of the show made us laugh.
It's just all vibes and love.
Yeah.
Like literally, like this past episode that they just uploaded on Friday. You see that Wanda gets pregnant within like
A day?
and then she's like, "Oh,
Look,
like
I'm like, look, that's you, man.
Oh my goodness!
yeah," because like they're explaining like, "What? Like I'm already 3 months, or what is it? Like I'm gonna have my baby in 3 days," and I'm like, "I'm gonna have my baby in 3 months." Did you explain
Vianney is Wanda.
like what had happened?
Yes, I vaguely did, but not the entire story last episode.
Okay.
But yeah, I thought it was pretty fun. And this 3rd episode really...
I like that Sword's starting to get involved finally because I think it's cool that the MCU is making an effort to tie in those like those TV shows like S.H.I.E.L.D. that like didn't end up working out and like its sequels, you know what I mean? So like it's trying to be like, okay, well Sword is like S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of. In the comics it was offset from it, but it kind of does the same stuff and kind of tries to check.
It's just a space police.
Yeah, and it's just... I hope that we finally get to see, like, the main villain soon. I hope, like, we get to see what's really going on with Vision, if he's really alive, or if this is just, like, a manifestation in Wanda's universe of him, or...
I think what's going on is that Wanda is just in denial that he's dead, so she's, like, coming up with, like, this whole world of just... of them being together, and every time something does pop up that is about to remind them of that it isn't reality, she like snaps out of it and she's like and she like rewinds like the whole scene and she changes it up on her own way, that way she can relive the moment that she's in with Vision.
But it's like that small burst of reality where like she's conscious that it's not.
Do we know
real.
how many episodes it is?
It's gonna run into March 5th, I believe, so that will make it 7 episodes?
Yeah, like 8 episodes. So it's gonna be like the Mandalorian level length. So almost halfway through them. Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Yeah, I like it. I like it because, like I said, Marvel's gonna be able to tell this standalone stories with a lot of their characters.
I think it was the lead producer for the show. I saw a quote from him on Twitter that people were asking him, like, are you already thinking about WandaVision sequels and this and that? And he's like, not really. We want it to run like a comic, like, production or publication. It needs to have a start and an ending. So there would really be no reason to do a sequel because we're going to have a solid finish on episode 8.
Yeah, and I think it's exciting to have those shows around. But I think that brings us to the end.
Yeah, I think that's basically the end. Thank you, ladies, for agreeing to sit down with us for this past couple hours. And, you know, I'm glad it was a good movie. I'm glad everyone enjoyed it. Spirited Away is a classic. So as long as nobody came away from this conversation hating it, I guess I'm all right with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, please send us your suggestions for any animes that you guys want to watch. Like Drew said, right now it's so easy to produce episodes every week that we need you guys to give us anything that you guys want us to talk about.
Yeah, keep sending suggestions. Me and Aldo read everything. Even like if I open a message on the Instagram and I know Aldo hasn't seen it yet, I'll just like screenshot and send it to him anyways, and then we'll have a conversation about like whatever little thing we end up getting sent. Like literally every piece of communication we get from you guys, we end up having a conversation amongst each other about it.
Yeah. And again, please use the hashtag. We're gonna have a hat anime giveaway for it. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, this has been Between Nerds.